There we go. Okay, so I was asked today to review, oh my gosh, Travis picking. Where's my coffee? I have a little bit more coffee in order for me to be able to use my words. And I was thinking about it this morning while I was making my coffee about the different ways that I like to use Travis picking. So we'll start with it just really simple.
Legal.
Oh, yeah, Sue,
Yep,
have you done Travis? You've done Travis picking before, right?
I think so.
Mm.
I
Right.
don't know if you remember, I've been kind of stalled for 3 years.
You'll get it back. You'll absolutely get it back because you were wild with the claw hammer.
That was fun.
Oh, right?
So much fun.
Do you do much claw hammer anymore?
I'm barely doing anything. I'm hard to get. I haven't got a group.
It's hard when
I
you're
don't have
by
anybody
yourself.
that it's just by myself. It
I'm,
doesn't motivate me the same.
no, no, it's not the same. There are some groups, or there's a guy on YouTube that does like what they call it, like a slow pitch bluegrass sing along.
Oh yeah.
That might be something that would be good for you because you could practice playing along with him. It's not the same as a group. Nothing's the same as being with people, but I'll see if I can post some links in you're on my Facebook page, right? Are you?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. I'll see if I can find them and post them there and then at least you guys will have some other resources. Yeah.
Thank you. There's nothing in Grand Prairie, even though that's 45 minutes from me.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
if they have a nighttime group, if they had a group, I
you might have
probably
to start one, Sue.
I live 20 minutes from anybody.
Oh, yeah, that's the hard part, right? Is you got to drive and find a Hmm. Let me mull that over.
Hill is 20 minutes from me, but
That's
I don't know
hard.
anybody there.
Yeah. Oh, there goes my phone again. Okay, I'm gonna get going on this, and I'm gonna make sure everyone's muted, and we're just gonna dive in while I think about what we can do to get Sue with a group of people. Well, maybe you guys might have an idea. We'll talk about it afterwards, okay? All right, here we go. So, the basics of Travis picking. Now, I'm going to approach it in a different way than I normally do, just to see how it feels, okay? So I'm going to talk Uke West for Sue, I think would be really good. Yeah, Rosemary. Okay, let's keep these ideas coming. We've got to help out Sue. I want you guys to think of clawhammer, or not clawhammer, Travis picking, as just being primarily right now with your thumb and index finger. So you've got your outside string, so I'm just going to say out, okay, and you just pluck them together. Now I've got these fingers hooked in like that, just so you can see that. I don't play like that. I have them relaxed, but then it's a little trickier to see everything I'm doing. Oh, there we go. So when you're doing that, something I like to think about is making sure that my thumb doesn't make that pinching motion and come right towards my finger, because then it can make it a little bit tricky to get fast. Yeah, Shirley, I see that. Yeah, just make a group happen. Okay, so I'm going to call this the out. Out, 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 out. When you do that, I'm going to stand up now so you can see how it looks when I'm just standing there. So I'm still pretty relaxed, right? Like, the only thing that would be tricky is if you strum up here on the neck, eventually you're going to run into the fretboard, right? So make sure your hand's back far enough and you're comfortable that you can do that. And you can relax. Then what we're going to do is just move everything to in. So that strings 3 and 2. Just like that. So when I pluck, I don't pull away. It's like waving bye-bye. Okay? Okay, right on, Laurel. Community libraries are a great place to start groups. Sounds to me, Sue, like no matter what happens, you're gonna have to make a 20-minute trek. Oh no, UQuest, that's online. Okay, so what I want us to do now is we're gonna do the out. We're gonna do it 8 times. And I'm not making any fancy schmancy chord. We're just getting this technique, and I'm being real cautious about it. I'm watching my hand. All right, here we go. Out. 4 more of them. Out. Okay, see how right now what I'm doing is after I play, I'm bringing my thumb and my finger back to rest on those strings before plucking again. I'm doing that so I can get the feel of them. And then I started plucking away so you could see what I was doing. That's not so good. I mean, you will see people do that, but it's best to avoid it if you can. Thumbs coming like this. Just making a little circle. Fingers just plucking up. Okay. Now let's go back to the ends. I lost track of all my number, 8 plucks and stuff. Let's just go to the ends and sit there. If you had your fingers like this, together, it's going to make it a little bit tricky to get speedy, I think. So again, I'm just sitting there hanging out. What we're going to do is start going back and forth now between the out and the in. Still not adding any fancy schmancy there with the fretting hand. We're just going to practice this technique. Now we're going to do 4 out, 4 in. Here we go. Out, 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 into the in. In, in, in. Back to the out. 2, 3, 4 to the in. Back to the out. Back to the in. Now, you might feel like you want to have your middle finger for the out. Okay. That's totally cool. So if you want to try the middle finger, that's totally awesome. I'm going to sit there and do that. And then when I move to the in, I'm going to use my thumb and index finger. Thumb's going to still stay on these 2 strings for this pattern. Although I was talking with a person yesterday that wanted to do a finger or do a Travis picking pattern on their baritone ukulele, but they couldn't get the right sound. And I said, well then, ignore the first string and make your chords on these 3 strings. So things do change, but they're still sitting with their thumb there and there. That was cool. All right, so here we go with middle finger on the first string, thumb on the 4th. We'll do 4 outs there, 4 ins here. Here we go. Ready, go. Out. Now the in. Back to the out. Back to the in. So this is the very basics of Travis picking. You could make it even more basic by just thinking about an alternating thumb. Do you have to alternate your thumb all the time with Travis picking? It sounds cool if you can, but it's not necessary. It'll feel funny if you don't, though, I think. Yeah, it might feel funny, but... Well, 1, 2, and 3 again. You know what? It's what I want to show you is a way for you to get going with it, and then it's based on your imagination, how you want to play, the style of the song you're playing, the mood you're in, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so we've got the basic idea down. Now I'm going to count it just as quarter notes. Okay, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going out. I often alternate a pluck, first, and 4th strings with a single bass note. Yeah, absolutely. All these alternating sounds sound so cool. They remind me a lot of alternating bass on the, look at me, that's my air piano. It reminds me of all that when I was at Capilano, man, I can't believe how fast my fingers got there. That was crazy. But yeah, alternating like that sounds so good. All right, so out, in, out, in. Here we go. Out, in, or out, in. You can use 2 fingers if you want. Stay just with your index finger if you want. I'm going to go with that again, just index. Oh, and I'm going to go back to that. I'm trying to show you guys both ways. But for now, whatever you do, just keep your thumb here and here. If you have a high 4-tuned ukulele or the low, either one's fine. Just keep it rolling. Now, I'm saying out, in, because that's going to be my quarter note rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to see what I can do with that. I'm going to show you the chord progression I was thinking might be kind of fun to play around with. I'm just going to be here. I'm going to make my G chord. So what I did, let me show you. I had my G chord here, just my normal one. And I slid my bunny ear fingers there up to the 7th fret station and made my G chord there. Okay. And I just sat there because, oops. So the chord names are down here, that's a G. This note right here on the 3rd fret is a G. So I'm going to say the note names like the white keys on the piano, walking up so that you can see why I'm playing that chord. So this is a G. On the 5th fret, that's an A. Therefore, if you made that shape there, you'd have an A chord. One that we use a lot in ukulele is a B flat. A sharp and B flat are the same thing, so I'm going to do that. My ring finger's on my 6th fret. There's a B flat. Okay, let's carry on. B flat, B. But what I'm after is the 8th fret and bunny ears on the 7th. Because that note right there is a C chord. Give it a strum for a couple strums. What I want you to practice right now is going from your G up to your C. Okay, let's go back down to the G. We can strum it, hold it for a 4 count if you want, and then we'll make our way up to the C. Here we go. G, 1, 2, 3, 4 on my 7th fret. Here we go on C. 2, 3, 4. Let's head back down to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back up to C on the 7th fret. My little, these are little maple leaves on my River Song ukulele. Those are my fret markers. Hit the C. Now let's say you've got a baritone and you're like, oh, okay, well, what is this on a baritone? Baritone, this would be a D. And this would be a G. Yeah, Laurel, right? So I know that Debbie was playing baritone yesterday at the sing-along, and I was thinking about her with this. She could be like... It's surprising how nifty just that sound is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could probably use that and this little kind of, you got a nice slidey sound going up to that C there. So I'll go back to thinking about it in terms of a ukulele tuning. So that's 2 bars of G I did there, and then I went up to C. We got to do something else with that though. So I was thinking about a 12-bar blues progression in the key of G. So we've got our G chord there. our C chord there. And if we move up 2 more frets, we're going to have a nice little D chord. So now I've got my bunny ear fingers on my 9th fret, and my ring finger has landed on my 10th fret. So make sure you've got that happening there. Go to strum. You'll find maybe the 4th string sounds okay. Maybe you want to strum 3 strings. Okay. With the 4th string, it makes it a D sus4. I say for right now, we pluck that 4th string. Let's just go for it, okay? And then we'll think about things that we can do otherwise, okay? Here we go. So, out, in, out, in. Let's try that a little bit. Okay, let's go down to C. So we're going to back up to the 7th fret. Let's go back up. I'll do it slower this time. Hear that? That's the part I don't like. It's kind of clashy. What if we did something like, what if we did it as 3 strings? Or, there we go. What if we kept the thumb on the 3rd string, ignored the 4th string, because I'm not digging that clash right now. So I'm going to keep my thumb on the 3rd string, and I'm going to use this as my out, and this is my in. That could work. And then go back down to our 7, 8, 7. We can make it full on again. Yeah, I like that. Back down to your G. Okay, so to sum that up, what we did was we've got our regular G chord. Then I got you to take your bunny ear fingers up to the 7th fret station and put your ring finger down there to make the G chord shape. But because of that note right there on the 8th fret of string 2, that note is a C. That tells us that this chord is a C. If we go up 2 more frets, so our bunny ears, can I write out a progression? Heather, I'm loving this right now. I'm gonna open up a Word document and get that going. So then we've got our 9th fret here for our bunny ears, 10th fret for our ring finger, and I decided that I wanted to just strum 3 strings there. So give that a little practice right there. 9, 10, 9. Strum it, try it as a 3-stringer, and then keep your thumb on your 3rd string, and this can be your out, and this is your in. So index finger is moving. It sounds like a ding dong. Got a delivery. It's coffee. Yeah. All right. So I am going to just want to check with you guys and see if that makes a bit of sense what I'm doing there. Yeah. It's fun. So it's not a bar chord, but it is a movable chord, which is nice because it doesn't exhaust your hand when you're experimenting with this stuff. So I'm gonna, how do I do this? Let me see. And, there we go. Okay. I'm headed towards the Word document now, so it's just gonna take me a minute. So the most basic Travis picking can really get you going because you can define the quarter note rhythm, right? And have your bass notes moving around without having a lot of movement in the right hand except for out, in, out, in. And if you think about that, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a nice way to just fiddle around. I'm just getting my... Where did it go? I'm talking to my Word document right now. Where'd you go? There's my ukulele fonts. All right, so we had G, and then you guys are like hearing my thought processes, everything. Hey, while I mutter away. Oh. So we played G on our, and I'm going to share this with you as soon as I've got it up so it's right on the screen. So I'm going to define it by saying G is on fret 3, and I'm going to write out the chord chart like I've got it like a normal one. You know what? I'm going to share the screen right now. That's what I'm going to do. This is so exciting. I'm digging it, man. Okay. There's my G. So G, that note is on the 3rd fret. Okay, so that note G is on your 3rd fret, but really I know that you're probably thinking about where your bunny ear fingers go, right? These guys up, I can't point at it, the top 2 dots. So 2 things I'm going to do. I'm going to write out some of the notes on the 2nd string of the ukulele. So string 2. And I'm not going to hit a bunch of the sharps. I'm just going to hit the white keys on the keyboard. So 3rd fret is G. 5 equals A. And now, because we use it a fair amount, I'm going to do 6 equals B flat. That's going to be the only one that's a little bit different, okay? Because that you might run into that one. Okay. B flat, or you might want to experiment with it, right? And then 8th fret, oops, is our C. Forgetting to tab. I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so there's our string 2 notes. So I'm now going to write it a little bit differently. I'm going to get the chord progression going, but you might want to think about the placement of that chord chart itself by thinking about where your index and middle fingers go, so your more dominant fingers, right? So G is 0232. That's your postal code if you're thinking about the frets. So to line that up, open is just like if you go back up and look at this chord chart, the 4th string is open, and we're playing on the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and 2nd fret. Therefore, down here, you've got open, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret. So then I'm going to write out C equals, so it's going to be, or C is, I'll keep the idea the same, 0, 7, 8, 7. And D is going to be just shifted up 1 fret, 9, 10, 9. Now I'll make that 10 bold so that you can see that it's not some weird thing where I'm like, play on your 9th fret and your 1st fret at the same time and stretch your fingers as hard as you can. So that's defining those main chords. Underneath this, I'll write out a little chord progression that we can play around with. I'm going to make it really, we don't need anything hard while we're doing this. We just need to get the feel of it, right? So play the G maybe for 4 bars. So that'll be 4 sets of out, in, okay? Whoops. Oh, typos everywhere. Okay. And then that'll be the same with C. So this is really stretched out. It's not like a standard kind of 12-bar blues. We're just stretching everything. You might want to play those 2 lines twice, get the feel of it. Then I would do, I'd probably do, let's see. I'd probably just play the D a couple of times. Now, that's the other thing, I should do this actually, because I talked about not playing that 4th string. Up here, look at that highlighting job I did there. Because I wound up doing I'm going to call it a tiny Travis pick on that one, okay? Tiny Travis pick. And thumb, I'll add more to it as we go. And this way, if you need anything added to it while I make this document, you know, you can question, right? Thumb on 3rd string, finger on 1 and 2. Oh, make the font a little tinier then right there. Okay, there. D, 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 C, 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 C. I think that would work. Now what I'm going to do is sit and play this. Where's my ukulele? I feel like I better tune this bad boy up again. There we go. I don't think the person is here that I'm about to talk about as a little aside. No, they're not. Dawn, I was commissioned to make an ugly stick for someone. And I found a copper bike bell to put on it. And I'm going to use a metal cat food bowl as a top for it, like a symbol. And I got a really nice broom handle, and I have a boot for it, and I'm doing that after we're done here. I couldn't believe I got the call. I said, this person, she called. I'll play while I'm talking, okay? She said, I hear you know how to make ugly sticks. I'm like, yes, I do. I think they're, you know, not tricky to make, but I was like, yeah, yes, I do. And she said, I hear you're the person to ask, you know, if maybe you want to have one specially made for someone. And I said, yes, I can do that. Because this person has gone crazy on bluegrass, and she is collecting, now I just went through the C, I'm going back down to the G, is what I'm doing now. She has been collecting washboards, accordions, jug band instruments, oh, I lost count. Anyway, she needs an ugly stick. I'll do one more set of out in, and then I'm going back up to G, or C. The copper bike bell, that was the win. I'm doing one more set of the C's. Now I'm going up to D. And this is where I'm going to do the tiny Travis pick. I'm going to keep my thumb on that 3rd string, and I'm just going to move my index finger back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to C. Down to G. All with the out and in. And maybe you want to do something Fancy schmancy, maybe you want to go up to the D there and you're like, I'm going to try that. And then I'm going to swing around and start at the top of the G again. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, whoops. I would probably do a low D there. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4. Yeah, I would do, if I was going to do that, if I wanted to toss in a D there instead of a G to make it feel like you want to swing back around and do it again, I would substitute just a plain old regular open D because it's got a different pitch, right? But the rest of them will get you playing higher, and then that way gives you a different sound to play around with. And whoops, subregular ZD. Subregular D chord for this. Right, there we go. So I want to check in with everyone. How's this feeling? These. Yeah?
Can you please explain that D with the 9109? I'm confused with, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So I put the X there because that's the fourth string that I had talked about not playing because it's a little too, might be okay. Probably depends on my mood. But right now I don't want to play that fourth string. I just want to make it a tiny Travis pick. So 9, 10, whoops.
Oh, 10. I thought that was 10. That's
Yeah.
what was confusing
Oh,
me.
that would do it
Okay.
for me too. Once I spaced it out, it looks better, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it makes it easier. These other ones that are just single numbers, right? The 232 and 787 makes sense, but once you get to that 10, it looks weird.
So when you say thumb on third string and finger 1/2, isn't it 3, 1, 3
Well,
and 1 and 1 and 2?
it would be 3 and 1 and 3 and 2. Thumb will remain on that third string, yeah. So you have 3 and 1 and then 3 and 2. So finger
Thank
just
you.
stays on, yeah. I'm kind of digging that sound. I gotta show you guys what I just did because I kind of like the sound of it. Let's see, what else could we do here? Okay, I gotta stop sharing and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. All right, so this would be for, oh, how did I do it before? I had something lined up here. All right, I don't know. I'm playing around too much with Zoom. Okay, so I had my regular chord thing happening there, right? Just with the G going. And this time, what I'm doing, I'm just making it little. Just for fun. Now tap that third string. If you're not sure about doing hammer-ons, keep your G chord shape. And just tap that third string. See if you can get that second fret to ring out just by tapping it. And I'm still making that G chord shape, right? Yeah. It might not be really loud. I had to work forever to get that sound. Now what I want you to do, you're not getting it, Diane?
No.
Yeah, keep working it. You got to make sure that you land with your index finger close to the fret and keep it down after you tap it. Okay, now I'm going to do this. That pointer finger's up. I'm going to do my outside pluck. Trying to make sure I got both hands on the string. So let's just break it apart. Keep your pointer finger up. do your outside pluck. Make sure you got that, okay? And then if you can do that, then you're going to keep that. See how I tap there? So I did my outside pluck with my pointer finger up, then I tap. So I'm doing a hammer-on. And I'm kind of digging that sound. So again, that's just on beat 1. I'm up, and I do a little hammer-on there. Or if you think of it as tapping, I find if you change your mindset to thinking about tapping, then it's easier to get a good, clear sound rather than being like, hammer on. Okay, how am I going to do this, you know? So I have it open, so finger up. I do my string 3 and 1 pluck. I do a tap. It's kind of fun, I like it. You could probably just go like nuts on that. Actually, I know I would. I would just go squirrely on this. And that's still all just with the plucking together, out and in. I was thinking the potential of just this is endless. But that's also, keep in mind, I haven't had a lot of sleep, and I'm starting to have a lot of coffee. So I will be playing lots of hammer-ons and getting faster and faster while I'm making my ugly stick, which is for Bailey. She's not here today, and she's started to acquire instruments. I'm rubbing off on her. She just bought an accordion, a little accordion the other day. She was like, should I buy it? And I said, yes, buy that thing. So I'm excited to make this stick for her. Okay, now we need to try splitting up some of this stuff. So now it's going to be a different page now that we're going to look at. We have, just going to review what we have right now though before I go on. Okay, so ultimately what we've talked about so far is just keeping the fingers together, plucking out, in, out, in. Out is strings 4 and 1, in is strings 3 and 2. Just as quarter notes, so then you can do 4 beats of each one of those chords. So out, each one would have out, in, out, in. To play around with it, you might want to take that G chord and try that tapping, where you play with the 3rd string open, in the style of doing, I'm just going to call it the tiny Travis pick. In the style of the tiny Travis pick that we used with D. Okay. Now, let's go on to more stuff. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that. There, okay. So, we talked about just the quarter notes. I like limiting myself like that. That's kind of fun. But now we're not going to limit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say out, inside, out, inside. And that's where we can start doing this. We're going to have out, thumb is in, index finger is side. Out, inside, out, inside, out, inside. Or you're making a sandwich. Bread, tuna. I like tuna sandwiches. Out, inside. But I'm digging the out, inside. The trick that people have when they do Travis picking is they tend to, when you're playing on that and doing a whole quarter note, they tend to speed it, you know, and make it so that it doesn't have the full beat. Take your time with that. I'm going to do like regular counting now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you feel confident with Travis picking and you're like, okay, I can rip through this, then while I'm doing this sort of stuff, do extra stuff. Inside, out, inside. It'll just help to define your rhythm. Like I find when I do that, I'm comfortable tapping my foot along with it. Now we're going to go out, inside, outside, inside. So it's just a first beat now that's together. Out, inside, outside, inside. Let's just do outside, in, side. Let's just do that. So thumb always goes first. Out, side, in, side. Out, side, in, side. And let me tell you, depending on how fast you want to do this, this could be your quarter notes. Okay? You could tap your foot to that, and maybe other people are like going like this. Maybe they're hitting their C chord. Or you're going 1, 2, 3. That's okay. You don't have to be ripping along on it. Out, side, in, side. Out, side, in. So I'm going to say that, and I'm going to strum my C chord, and just give yourselves a little bit of practice there. If you feel like you can double up the speed, like you've been doing Travis picking for a while, and you're like, I can, then go for it. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. So I'll strum. Practice your picking, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, side, in, side. Out, side, in, side. I'll do a couple more like this, and then I'm going to switch and I'm going to do picking with you. Out, side, in, side. Here we go. Out, side, in, side. Just remember, thumb in this pattern, thumb always goes first. It helps to define your harmony because you're hitting the lower notes. Out, side, in, side. I'll go back to strumming. Out, side, in, side. Out, side, in, side. Okay. So you get that feel. So it could be quarter notes. You can have a very good time when you treat these just as quarter notes. Kat, I know that you're quite comfortable with this sort of stuff, and you look like you're having a great time, and the breeze is moving your hair, and I'm like thinking about flying to Mexico right now. I'm like, I want to be in a warm breeze too. So what I did there, just for fun, was I did a hammer-on my 4th string. So tap, and that, here it becomes 1 and 2, 3, 4. As an addition, then what I did, so this is just leveling it up for people that are comfortable already. I want to make sure that everyone gets something out of this. That's where I then decided I was going to have a good time with hammer-ons on 2nd fret of strings 3 and 4. What I'm echoing right now here is a pentatonic scale. So that's why I'm choosing the 2nd frets there. Okay, so I've got this. Outside, inside, outside, inside. So it's still just quarter notes. Whoopsie, I almost dropped my ukulele. And then maybe you're like, okay, I'm digging that tapping. I can go like this. Look how I have to rest my fingers here now, right? Don't have a strap, just hanging out. You'll see me do that more and more with ukulele. I just kind of hold it in place, and I figure it's not hurting my hand, everything's okay. This hammer-on idea isn't going to work with every chord. I'm trying to keep my middle finger out of the way. There we go. Tap. So that could be just a nice way to throw in some hammer-ons if you feel comfortable doing that Travis picking. Okay, okay, now a little bit more. Oh no, coffee first. Got to level up with coffee. And then I'm going to show you guys some chord shapes that might be entertaining to play with Travis picking, because I often find I make, like when I'm playing my guitar and I'm accompanying someone, I'll improvise with different chord shapes, still using that Travis picking pattern. And it's super duper fun. My good friend finger picking. All right. You know what? I see a bunch of stuff in the chat. Let me just double check that before I go on. Okay, no, I'm all caught up. Okay, good. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to do the full thing. So we're going to go out, inside, outside, inside, out, inside, outside, inside. I'm trying to make a big deal about it with my fingers too, so that you can see, you know, that it's a full beat as well as hear it. Out, inside, outside, inside. You guys have got that going on. Okay, now we're going to make a song. We're just going to play whatever we want to play. All right, so make that C chord. Pardon me. And all the dots are going to be fair game for you. Check this out. Anything you play with those dots will sound nice, and then you can Travis pick over it. You make your own song, you make your own interlude. All that stuff works pretty nice over a C or an A minor chord. Okay, so let's do, right? It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let's calm down a little bit here. Okay, so I'm gonna make my C chord. I'm gonna sit on that a couple of times. Then I'm just gonna move up. I'm just connecting those dots, man. Okay, here we go. On the C chord, out, inside, outside, inside. I'll stand up. There are a whole number of variations possible with Travis picking, not just one. Absolutely. Travis picking is it's a style, and you'll see that there are all sorts of things you can do with it. Merle Travis just went wild with this sort of stuff. You saw a lot of this. But it's not as static as you might think. Yeah, 7/5/4, the beginning of the May Waltz. That's the thing. That waltz, you could Travis pick that baby. And don't like that note so much. Is Travis picking basically alternating thumb with many variations? I would say so. Yeah. You don't always alternate, but if you do sit with your thumb on the root note of a song, you can call that an ostinato. Dead thumb picking. I love that term. Dead thumb picking. The classical musician in me says ostinato. The one that's hanging out in bluegrass land says dead thumb. All right, so we've got that C chord. I want you guys to move up to that 5th fret and try doing that Travis picking there and see what you think about the sound. Here we go. Let's just sit there a little bit. Or move around. Do what you want. I'm going to go up to that 7th fret now. I'm just exploring that fretboard. Next dot, 10th fret, I'm headed up there. Oh, now I'm going all classical. See that? That finger started to do a little wiggle back and forth. My little... It sounds so... I'm on my 15th fret now. If you're playing up there and you're like, oh, this sounds kind of dead, get right on your tippy toe And put your nail next to that fretboard. Okay, oh, it's a little blurry. Put your nail next to the fretboard. That'll help kind of develop the fret up there a little bit. Something that would be really fun for you guys to do is just that. Take that shape, play around with it, and get comfortable with it. If you are comfortable playing around with it and make it so this hand just feels confident, then it's going to be so easy for you to apply it to chord progressions wherever you are. Let's see. You just got to train up that hand so that it sits and does the progression you want it to do, and you don't have to think about it. In order to do that, to be really confident with it, you want to get that going. Or, you know, 2 fingers. And make sure that you can talk while you're doing it, right? Like really, like make it so that you practice it and you're like holding a conversation. You know, if you don't have anyone to talk to your ukulele. Well, ukulele, I like the look of your neck. But what is that? Where'd you come from? Whatever, just talk, prattle on so that you know that you can do this. Then once you can do that, practice that progression where it's, or do all the outsides, like, or sorry, split them up like we were doing. Right? Keep that going, play around with it, and then have that, I call this one the final boss, right? Boom. And that's when you know, I'm around a lot of gamers, if you call something hard the final boss. I can't play computer games like that. Because I suck at them and I'm impatient. So there's me sitting or talking, doing all this, and it's for a reason. It's to show you that, you know, you can do that too, right? And you can find these frets, you can play whatever you want on them, right? Wherever you want to go. And of course, then there's that dust in the wind. Here I'm really emphasizing that first beat. It's a beautiful chord progression. I'm going to put it up on my website so that you guys have that. And it's going to be a lengthy one that you get. The first page has the chords written out in different ways. So hopefully one of them will make sense to you. So it'll be in tablature. I don't know if you guys have gotten that one from me before. It'll be in tablature, and then I think the postal code, right? All the little fret numbers, and then just the names. So it's, for me, it's the fret numbers. That's what makes sense to me. Like I know the chord names. I learned the fret numbers first, right? 3, 2, 5, 3. And then I was like, okay, now I've got to make sure I know the names. C, C major 7, C add 9, C. And then I said those names. But there's a lot to unpack when you do that. Just make sure you can still do that. Well, that's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm doing the outside part together with a little hammer on. I didn't even go back to the inside. Variations are endless, and that's where you're going to see that. Like, you take a look at different finger picking blues tunes that people would do. And you'll see that where there's variations of that Travis picking. It's just hopping around, right? And like, oops, oh, where's my chat? Like, yeah, like Dawn said, there's a whole number of variations possible with Travis picking, not just one pattern. Yeah. And then Shirley, basically alternating thumb with many variations. Oh yeah. Yeah. So, thoughts. How's it feel? Is there one of those patterns, did it kind of make sense to you? Is it something, you know? I guess that's my big thought, is like, does it make sense? Do you need anything clarified? Dawn's got it. Ah, right on. Dawn was hanging out with me yesterday for our jam, and yeah, it's fun, right? I see you in person, I see you on screen. It's good. So if you guys don't have any questions, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording, and that way we can, you know, if you got anything else you want to say but you don't want to have it recorded, there we're good. All right, so for anyone that's watching this on YouTube that hasn't done Travis picking before, have fun.